And I am your host, Mr. Derrick Forston. And just like always, I'm super excited to bring to you again how in the world do we do this shared living environment that we call independent living facilities? So, again, guys, my name is Derrick Forston. I'm super excited that you're here. I'm the owner and operator of Second Chance Housing, but I'm also the founder and thought leader of Forston Consultants. And that's where me and my family go all over the world, including every Monday and Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here on YouTube, where we show you guys how to start your own housing program. So if you've ever imagined starting a group home or an ALF and it took too much of licensures and too much of permission from your state and have to jump through all of these hula hoops, we want to show you guys the cheat code of how to start your own housing program, which we call independent living facilities, right? And again, that's an environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So I want to answer a bunch of questions today. And if you've ever decided or wanted to start your own housing program but had no clue where to start, you are in the right place. Because if you love God, if you love people, and if you love real estate, you are in the absolute right place, because that's what we live by. Love God, love people, and love real estate. So again, big shout out to everybody that came to our June 21st and 22nd conference. Thank y'all so much. People are still on fire from that event. And I got a treat for you all tonight as well. So one of the social workers and case managers, or one of the directors of social work and case managers that actually came to speak at our event, Ms. Desiree, she's actually going to be live with us today. So we're going to send her the link and actually let her chime in. She's got some things that she want to share. And also, if you guys got questions that could be answered from a case management or a social work standpoint, we also want to do that. So as I said, welcome one and welcome all. As y'all know, man, I'm gonna bring up some information for you guys to look at in terms of to see on the screen. And I want to answer a bunch of questions today. So I hope you guys got some questions. You guys know that I can run my big mouth for a long time on here, right? And I can just talk about a lot of different stuff, but I just actually want to answer some questions today. Today is the first of the month, which means I've been running around crazy today, right? So people moving in, people moving out. I lost two of my guys that were weekly payments, right? So we house the homeless and the displaced, but we also house people that have everyday jobs. So two of my guys that what I'm gonna call graduated this past week, and they've now moved on. So remember, I told you guys, when we're housing these people, these clients won't stay with you forever. Or at least that's not the goal for some of my guys, right? I'm to be a stepping stone for where a lot of these people are going. It's now sad for me. I lost two people that had jobs. So for me, that was weekly pay. So both of these guys were in private rooms. And for us, a private room is $960 a month. Okay. And if my math is correct, that's $240 a week. So that's what we charge by the week if we're rented to somebody that's somebody that has a job. But just to give you an example, I lost two of those guys. So if you can imagine $240 times two, that's what, $480? But guess what? I'm moving in somebody tomorrow, and I'm getting somebody, I think, again on Thursday. So this is kind of, or can be, a revolving door. When somebody moves out, there's always somebody waiting to move in, especially this time of the month. So Miss Pierre, Miss Slater, Miss Teal, all of you all, make sure that you remember at this time of the month is when you're going to be probably most busy with phone calls, move-ins, and moves out and move outs, because the clientele that we serve, ladies and gentlemen, they get paid on the first and the third, right? So again, today I'm very busy with moves. Took a lot of phone calls today, which is my virtual assistant, and then she transferred a lot of those calls to me in terms of what Jess thought of the people that she assessed. Because one thing about Jess, she'll do the assessment, right? And then she'll say, well, Derrick, I think this guy's going to be a great fit for our program. But Derrick, I want you to talk to him to make sure that he's going to be a good fit. So right here, I want to show you guys my team real quick. Most of you guys have heard me talk about Tara. I talk a lot about Jess, because Jess is like my right hand. Jess controls my schedule, right? Jess knows my everyday, right? And Jess also runs my program now. So Jess is the program manager at Second Chance Housing. So watch this. God and I built Second Chance Housing 7 years ago. But 16 months ago, I trained Jess to be me. So Jess answers all the phone calls. Jess builds all the relationships in the community. Jess sets up all the appointments for me to show up at hospitals, right? And Jess is a virtual assistant, guys, from the Philippines. So for $5 an hour, I have somebody that takes onus of this program like it's hers. That's why with our coaching product, that ILF Mastery Blueprint, that's why we give you guys your own virtual assistant as a gift, because I want y'all to be good at it. Because most of y'all ain't good at social media. You don't have time to answer your cell phone all the time. right? And you don't have time to build all the relationships in the community the way I teach you guys. But about 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, we implemented virtual assistants inside of what we do. So now today, a lot of what I teach you all today, my people that learned this from me years ago, they didn't get the luxury of having a virtual assistant do their social media, a virtual assistant cold calling and allowing you to come to these hospitals to present who you are. So 3 or 4 or sometimes 5 days a week, guys, I'm inside of a hospital running my big mouth about how I can end homelessness, talking to social workers and case managers. How do I do that though? Through Jess. Jess cold calls and finds all of these hospitals for me to do this in. So again, if you just joined us, we're discussing independent living facilities, which is the opposite of an ALF or traditional group home. An ILF, which is an independent living facility, does not require a license. You do not have to own the property. There is no oversight from my state. There is no permission that I got to ask for to do this. And the reason is because the clients that we serve are completely independent. They're able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So that means that my clients are able to cook their own bologna sandwich. My clients are able to provide their own food, either through Uber Eats or they cook it themselves, frozen TV dinners, or they can really cook. But guys, I do not cook for my clients. I'm too busy for that, and neither do I want to get in trouble. And remember, my dream many years ago was to start a housing program that didn't require staff. So that's the cheat code for each and every one of you. So if you're new to us, you should be screaming and shouting tears of joy right now, because if you anything like I was 8, 9 years ago, when people told me, Derrick, you can't start no housing program, bro, unless it's a group home and you got a license from your state. The devil is a liar. So we house people that are independent, and we're renting rooms to these individuals, guys. And to make it real simple for you, this is simply just renting rooms, but we put structure behind it. Because when I first started this years ago, I never wanted to be known as some guy that was just renting rooms. That's boring. I wanted to be respected as a program that was changing lives in the community through shared housing. And this is literally kind of what it looks like. Now, when it's got the 1 bed per room, this is that private room or the private suite. But most of our models are going to have 2 beds per room, because that way you can help more people and you can also maximize your income. So the 2 beds per room that kind of looks like that, that's the model that most of us are going to get into when we do this. Because again, when the math ain't mathing or the math don't make sense, 1 per room may not cover all of the bills and the utilities. So depending on what your overhead is, your rent or your mortgage, you're going to decide whether you do 2 people per room or whether you do that 1 person per room. And a good example for me is like, I like to do that 4 bed, 2 bath model. That means I can house 8 people. But what if I do 6 people and have just one of those rooms as maybe a private room? So again, that's kind of what this works like. So again, if you're new to us, just like it said on the bottom of that screen, let me know. I want to know about it. If you're new to us, text the word new to 407-326-0086. And we got a free gift that we want to give you. So as soon as you text that number with the word new, you immediately get that free gift. And I also want to know about it, because if you got questions or concerns about how this model works, I want to make sure that I'm the first person to be able to explain it to you. Because many years ago, I used to be a social worker. That's my whole story. I was the social worker. And God allowed me to see a lady making $41,000 a month doing this. But y'all, the difference is that she was housing people in rats and roaches, right? She was mistreating people. So I said, God, if you let this lady get in this and make good money like that and seemingly help people, but she's not, I said, God, I want to get in it. And I begged God to change my life through helping people and through real estate. And God was so genius, y'all, not me. God allowed me to mix social services and real estate together, because that's all this is, guys, essentially. This is real estate and social services together. So again, I'm here tonight to answer some questions. I'm going to try my best to send Miss Desiree this link. Miss Desiree is a social worker that literally was one of the speakers at our event. And she kind of wants to introduce you all and explain something a little. Oh, and there she is, actually. So I'm going to finish. I'm going to actually bring her on and actually allow her also to answer any questions that you have. So just a quick room reset one more time. You are lucky if you've ever dreamed of starting your own housing program, ALF, a group home, and you couldn't figure it out. You thought you needed a license and a sprinkler system. You thought you had to get permission through your state. We're teaching you guys how to start your own independent living facility. Now, you missed June 21st and June 22nd. That was our 2024 ILF conference, where we literally break it down once a year to everybody in one setting. But every Monday and Tuesday and Saturday, we come right here on YouTube and give this game away for free. Literally trying to impact your life and change your life and give you the tools that you need to start your own housing program. Ms. Desiree was one of the social workers, case managers, directors that came to that conference and spoke a lot and dropped a lot of gems. So for you all that missed it, congratulations. I'm bringing her back. So now how far she decides to go, that's up to her. But she also want to discuss something with you all that's very similar to the HRA, and I'm going to let her kind of get into it. So Ms. Desiree, first of all, welcome and good evening. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you, Derrick, Shay. How are you guys doing?
Desiree, introduce yourself to the people. Let's pretend that nobody knows you. Tell them who you are, and we'll jump right into it.
Absolutely. My name is Desiree. I have two roles that I play. I am a targeted case manager with Chrysalis Health Center, where I work in the community helping different populations. And I also work at Senior Facility Finders, which is the HRA similar program Derrick was mentioning. And there we do senior placements for individuals who need the ALF, the memory care, the opposite of the ILF model, pretty much.
Got it. Okay. Now, obviously, we can go several different directions today, but I want to kind of give it to you first. Is there anything that you want to talk about or cover before we dive into kind of what you really want to talk about?
Absolutely. So I have been really pumped up since the ILF conference. I was really excited to be a part of that. And with Senior Facility Finders, it is really catered to a different type of population, but I really want to see how we can work with the ILF population and Forston Consultants and offer that service.
Absolutely.
The ILF population as well.
So obviously you and I talked about this earlier, right? I'm about to burst at the seams because I'm excited about the opportunity, not only for you, but for us. And guys, Desiree is so unselfish that she's kind of wanting to involve all of us in it. So when she first presented this to me, she said, Derrick, I would love to work with you guys, but Derrick, all of the people that you teach, all of the people that may be underneath you and Shay's tutelage, I want them to also be able to gain an advantage of me being connected to this senior care thing that she's talking about. So first of all, Ms. D, thank you for that. But explain to them, what is the senior advisors thing? What is that?
So Senior Facility Finders, we are a senior placement agency. We work with skilled nursing facilities, financial advisors, financial planners who has a client or patient that needs the long-term care, assisted living, memory care, things like that the ILF model doesn't really reach to. And so we work with that patient or their power of attorney, and we have a database full of providers all throughout the United States. And we locate ones based on their budget, their location, their needs. And then we tour that facility with the family, and we assist all the way through the process to make sure that they're placed and that it's a good fit for them. And this is at no cost to the individual at all.
I love that. No cost. Shay, you had something?
No, I just said, wow. Like,
okay, got it.
Every time I hear it, it's just like, wow.
Again. And just to make sure that people really understand what this is anybody in this room right now that doesn't understand what the HRA is? Because if you don't understand that and we keep talking, you guys are going to be lost in the sauce. So let's pause for 2 seconds, because I'm going to let Desiree have this whole stage. But if you guys do not understand what the HRA is, the Housing Referral Agency, and how that works, you guys are going to be lost for the next 30 minutes. So I'm going to wait 5 seconds because I know that some of you guys are delayed. But is it anybody that does not understand what the HRA is and how it works? Put a number 3 in the chat. I'm going to give 10 more seconds. Again, if you do not understand what the HRA, because if everybody understands, great, we could just go jump right into it. But I'll be doing people a disservice if they don't understand what the HRA is.
I say give a brief overview, even for the people that catch the replay. So that way, if they don't know, they'll be able to kind of grasp at it and get that information. So I say give a brief overview of that. What is the HRA?
You got it, Shay. Thank you so much. And Miss Martin actually just responded to that. So perfect. So the HRA is a housing referral agency. Very simply, a lot of you all want to do this. A lot of you all want to start your own housing program. You just thought you had to buy your property. You thought you had to get all of this stuff. But we've created something that's called the HRA, which allows you to house the homeless and the displaced, and you never need the real estate. You don't have to buy the property or rent it. You're going to literally leverage other people. Prime example, if Desiree gets a call today and has a client and she can't house that guy because she don't have the real estate, she can call me. And if I house that guy and move him in, I now owe Desiree a referral fee. That's the HRA that I've been teaching you guys for a long time now. One more time, really slowly. God has put on each and every one of y'all hearts to house people. That's why you're here. But if you thought the barrier to housing people was you getting a property, the devil is a liar. No more. Desiree, when we first taught this many years ago, you had to have a house to make this model work. But Shay, as you know, today, you don't. You need a cell phone, an internet connection, and the willingness to run your mouth and tell people that you provide housing. So if you do that, meaning tomorrow, go on your Facebook page and post to the world that you provide affordable housing. And then now if you get that phone call and you can't house the guy or the lady because you don't have a house, you call somebody else in your city, in your state. Call Miss Shay, call me. There's a lot of people in this room that have the housing already. So when you make the referral, if that person moves in, meaning Mr. Harry, you're in South Carolina right now. Mr. James, if I sent you a client today that came through my phone system that just answered the phone and realized the guy want to move to South Carolina, I'm going to call my brother Harry. But Harry, when I send you Mr. Brian Jones, and when Brian Jones moves in, Mr. Harry, congratulations to you because you just got your $750 in rent, but you owe me $300 because that's my referral fee. Because Mr. Harry, you would have never met Brian without me. So you and I work together. And this is what Desiree is getting ready to present to you all. Very similar to an HRA, but I'm going to call it HRA on steroids. Because one thing about me, if I give you guys a referral, once I give the referral and you pay me, I'm done. There's no aftercare. There's no follow-up. I'm not helping you any further. Desiree is the opposite. And that's why I wanted to explain that first. Now, Desiree, I'm going to give it back to you now to make sure I did a great job of explaining that. And then you go right into your part of how they can benefit from it.
Absolutely, Derrick. That was perfect. Thank you. So we do the same thing, right? But because I have two hats, I work on the targeted case management side. I'm able to assist with the ongoing after the housing referral agency. So helping the clients maintain their mental health services. If they need help getting educational or food and pantry, medical needs, we stay on long-term. And that is also a free service to the client. That is a service that is covered by insurance, Medicaid. So that's something that I really recommend the clients having because it's so resourceful to have that person to keep going. Because especially in an ILF facility where you are independent, they do need the mental health. Everyone can work on their mental health sometimes. So to be able to provide that service and continue ongoing after the housing need is met, that's where we're able to step in and continue to provide that service at Chrysalis Health Center, where I work as a targeted case manager.
Absolutely. Can you go into a little bit of because Desiree, they hear me talk about it all the time. You're the actual targeted case manager that is looking for the housing. Can you talk a little bit about the need for housing in this model?
Absolutely. Housing is a huge barrier across the board, no matter what population you're working with. The rent, especially in Central Florida, is so high that it's really hard to attain that. Essentially, you also have criminal background checks and credit checks and things like that a lot of our clients don't have. And so we're able, I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat too. We're able to assist in that way as well.
Good stuff. So you guys hear it from, as they say, the horse's mouth, right? In terms of, because I'm just, I'm still a social worker at heart, but Desiree is still in the day-to-day of it, right? So again, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, this is a great opportunity for you to say, well, I missed the conference, but he brought Desiree to us. Now, Desiree, also give them a little bit of insight of what you're offering kind of to us and anybody that's kind of under our teaching and tutelage. What are you offering there and how does that work?
Sure. So for senior facility finders and the housing referral agency concept with the finder's fee, the way we work, because we work with ALFs, they are usually a lot higher payments monthly than your regular ILF model. And we understand that they're paying a lot less because it's affordable housing. So we want to offer our finder's fee at a much discounted rate, which is usually 100% of the first month's rent. It's a one-time payment for the finder's fee. And we want to offer that at a much discounted price for the ILF team under Forston Consultants.
Also, talk about that database, because I don't want nobody to get lost here. What is the advantage of somebody like getting referrals from you? What is this database that you told me about where all of the ALF people are?
So Seth, he's the owner and operator of Senior Facility Finders, and he has a great ton of resources as well. And he created a database called Placed. And inside this database is all across the United States, all hospitals, all ALFs, all memory care. So it's very similar to if you're going to search for an apartment and you would click 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom. Well, in this database, you're choosing medical needs, mental health needs. And this is all catered to ALF, memory care, things that are not similar to ILF. And what we want to do, what I would like to do, is to extend that by starting to get the ILF in our database so that when anyone is searching, the ILF population is not left out, and vice versa. If an ILF provider has a client that needs that, then we can work both ways together.
Wow, that's interesting. I hope you guys are understanding what she's saying, because if you're missing this is golden. She essentially, guys, can serve as an HRA, but I'm gonna call it HRA on steroids, because let's give them a couple examples of how far this help can go. So if you get a client that needs to be placed, let's just say in somewhere, can everybody put in the chat what city and state you're from? No matter where you're at, guys, go ahead and put in the chat right now what city and state you're from. I want to have a little fun with in terms of where you guys are from. Let's just use Florida for right now until they type it in the chat. If you get a call from one of my people in Florida, you call them, and let's just call him Jerome Anderson. You refer Jerome Anderson to Miss Cherie Slater, right? Once the client moves in, let's just say the guy is independent from day one. Let's just say 5 months later, for whatever reason, he starts to deteriorate and he's no longer independent under our standards. How can you help with that?
Absolutely. Well, from the start, we would still be involved after placement. Targeted case management is 6 months to a year or more, depending on the situation. So once they're placed, the targeted case manager would actually continue to work with that person. In 5 months, if something were to occur, that's when the targeted case manager can step in, and anything from advocating for their Social Security benefits to get turned back on if they're turned off, helping them find a new job, finding resources for food and pantry for the clients who don't have a driver's license or transportation. We can advocate and assist for them in that way as well.
I love it. I love it. This also, guys, and what we talked about at our June conference that you guys missed, is that I teach you guys to specialize in housing and don't get involved in nothing else. But when you meet a case manager and a company and an organization like where Desiree is from, it allows you guys to be superheroes and do all of that stuff that I tell y'all don't get involved in. And Shay calls it third party. So Shay, can you talk about a little bit? Because Shay, you do this from a nonprofit standpoint. Talk about how we're able to leverage Desiree to make us look better in terms of what we do.
So the prime example is, again, like even from a nonprofit standpoint, I'm able to leverage the skill set of someone else that can provide the programs. So like for me, Derrick, as a nonprofit organization, I'm always looking for services, right?
Okay.
Services that then are turned into programs, which are how we get funded when we write grants. A lot of people saw that $10,000 grant that was received from that the Angela Denise Foundation received, and it was allocated to a specific program that the Angela Denise Foundation runs and does. And what ends up happening with that, when we create those programs, it gives us an opportunity to either pay for the services that are being rendered by the third party, or it helps us to pay for the housing or whatever that program may consist of, right there. Like, so most times my programs are, based on things like credit repair, being able to get our individuals, our ladies into, debt consolidation and cancellation. So being able to facilitate that stuff while subsidizing rental income. Now, with what I can do now with a partnership such as Desiree's is I can now rewrite or reconstruct, a program that will either allow me to do one of two things. If Desiree has a service or they have a service that has a small fee, we can now pay the fee where the client doesn't have to pay the fee. We can now cover those bases and alleviate the resident from being able to literally have to take on that financial burden, where we can actually write that as a grant. And now there's no lapse. So now the resident has what they need in regards to the services that are being rendered. They're not having to come out of pocket. And guess what? I am still an independent living facility owner and operator. I'm not rendering the services. I'm not doing the day-to-day heavy lifting. I can put in strict guidelines or things that Desiree and I or whoever the team member is appointed to the file. We can build out what this resident needs and be able to work together on making sure that person has everything they need. And that's where, when I say partnership is a huge, 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 huge thing, the partnership doesn't just benefit Desiree, it benefits me as an ILF owner and operator, right? Because now I'm not trying to find somebody that has all of the credentials or qualifications, because now I'm going through a company or an organization that already has all of those key factors and those things that I need in order to make sure that my residents have what they need to live successfully. So that's literally it.